Melakanamin, namin, nachu, machu, melakanamin.
Almond latte.
Thank you.
There's a Starbucks right there!
So I just got back from watching Wicked for Good. Now, in case you didn't know, since I've briefly discussed it before, I love the first Wicked. It was everywhere when it first came out. It was arguably the biggest and most iconic hit of 2024. So of course I and many others would be hyped for its sequel, aka the second half of the original Wicked musical. So, was this a worthy sequel? Yeah, I think so. I really liked it. I had a very good time with it. Is it as good as the first film? Heck no, but there's still some good stuff. On the positive side, individual sequences and performances and the overall set design of the world of Oz, it's all just as strong as the first film. This plays out as a much more dramatic, more emotional portion of the story, and because of that, the performances are all so layered and interesting. Everyone's well acted, of course, but Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are definitely the biggest standouts. Granted, they were huge standouts in the first film, and even more so here, because as I said, this is a more dramatic portion of the story, and as a result, you feel every interaction, be it positive or negative. For everything that's being said or sung, it has a meaning, it has a point, it has a purpose to it. In particular, I think this was Ariana Grande's biggest time to shine. This movie is very much Glinda's movie. There are multiple scenes throughout this movie where she sings and acts so well. I felt for her so many times, especially towards the ending where I admittedly kinda sorta got a little teary-eyed. In addition, there are many sequences that are, for lack of a better word, spellbinding, especially during the musical numbers that, while not having the same punch to them as the songs from the first film, are still very nice to listen to. It's one of those examples of the tricks you can apply to the medium of film that you can't do in a Broadway musical, adding life to what was otherwise a very strong piece of musical art. Now, this is still a very good movie, but the biggest problem and criticism I've seen from this movie is that the story is much clunkier and messier than in the first film. The first Wicked, as I said, was about Elphaba and Glinda meeting each other, but in this movie, it's doing the aftermath of that story while trying to integrate the plot of The Wizard of Oz. Some of it works, and it kind of feels padded and stretched out and completely disconnected from the main plot. Generally, there are certain characters that are a lot more unlikable, and while I didn't mind this portion of the story being more dramatic and layered, there are times where it can feel too weighty and not quite as pleasant or magical. There's also a scene during the ending of this film that's supposed to be played out as a big reveal, and I'm sorry, but it was just not necessary. And if you see the movie, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, Wicked for Good still offers a lot for the viewer to enjoy. It does deliver on big emotion, sweeping fantastic sequences, and phenomenal performances. I just wish it had a stronger, more effective story. High 7 out of 10, teetering on a low 8.